Live for my live segment this week. As you can see, if you're watching this and not listening to it on the podcast, I got a little bit of sun. I've been trying to sit outside in the sun all the time, do calls and stuff because we finally have nice weather. We might be stuck in this quarantine place, but we still have beautiful weather outside finally that we can enjoy. And so I'm going to enjoy it as much as humanly possible, get a little bit sunburnt, and just really live the dream. But I digress. What I wanted to do this week, like I did last week, and that this magically kind of just started happening, was answer a bunch of the questions that I get. So instead of spending like 24 hours sitting there, like typing my brains out on this keyboard, what I want to do is actually just come live and answer these questions because it's easier for me. I mean, for me personally, I do a lot better on video. And so it's easier than trying to type because I don't know about you, but when I try to type, I think faster than I'm typing, and then if like words get spelled wrong, things don't look right, random things come out that I'm not sure how they came out, and so it's easier to do video. So here I am. This week we have a bunch of cool questions, and I wanted to go through them, so let's jump in. And if you're ever watching this and you have specific questions for me about your mind, your body, your habits, something random that you want to ask, just post in the comments and I'll add it to the next week's episode, or shoot me a message and I'll add it to next week's episode. So that way everybody gets their questions asked and I can keep this thing going. So I'll keep it going as long as I still get questions. If I get no questions, well, then obviously that's all she wrote. So let's start today. So first question is, what is the likelihood that a body in the 25 to 35% body fat range can be shaped into a body to be proud of? Well, I mean, the likelihood is based on how motivated you are to achieve that success and how willing you are to make sure that success happens. So it's 100% likely that you can do it, but it's not 100% likely that it's going to happen. So if you're in a program like mine, you're not allowed to leave the program until you hit the success that you want. But if you're out there trying diets, if you're doing like vegan, keto, pescatarian, the 48-hour Hollywood cookie diet, the pills, the shakes, and all the cool stuff, the Roomba diet, where you stand on top of the Roomba and dance, and all of those are probably going to help you lose initially, but you're going to gain it all back. So the likelihood that you can lose that body fat and go into the 25 to 30% range, or shape that range into a body that to be proud of, is obviously 100% likely that it's possible. The hard part for most people is they don't end up on the path that's going to allow them to be successful to do it. So most people struggle for their whole lives. Like, I get on the phone with 5 to 7 people every week, sometimes every day. And the biggest problem they all run into is they've tried everything. They've quote unquote tried everything. And it's not that they're doing it wrong. It's not that they're bad. It's not that they're not motivated. I speak to some of the most motivated people I've ever seen in my life, and they still can't figure it out. Why? Because they've been shown by an industry that they need to do diets, that they need to do pills, that they need to do shakes, that all of this short-term garbage, this short-term bullshit is what they need, but it's not. What it comes down to achieving these kinds of goals is it's adopting habits, and it's adopting a lifestyle that's going to allow this to be a successful practice for you long term. And this isn't a shot at diets and pills, and I guess it is a shot at diets and pills. I mean, they suck. In my opinion, it's something that's designed to take your money, but not designed to make you happy and healthy long term. So if that's what you want, if you want to get into a shape that you're proud of, and a shape that you can believe in, and a shape that shows exactly who you want to be, well, then you have to get into a long-term plan that looks at your habits for the most part. See, the diets, the nutrition, and fitness are part of it. Like, fitness is 10%, nutrition's 90%, but habits are really where it comes into play. The habits of understanding and recognizing and being mindful of the way you're eating, mindful of what you're eating, mindful of why you're eating it, mindful of the balance you're creating. That's what creates success. That's the most important part, because the unconscious level that we use to either sabotage ourselves and just to go ham on a cheeseburger and not realize what happened, and wake up 5 days later with a liter of cola next to you and a pound of donuts on the right side of you. Well, that's going to happen if you don't have the right habits established. And that's why people go up and down on diets. It's why they go awesome, and then they fall off track, and they go awesome, they fall off track, they buy the shake, they're awesome, they fall off track, they buy the pills, they're awesome, they fall off track. Their friend has this new super magic voodoo tea that cures everything, including like cancer and coronavirus, and it works, and then they fall off track. All of these things happen because they don't alter our lifestyle. Even when you look at weight loss surgery, most people who have weight loss surgery gain it all back. Why? Because they didn't change their fundamental habits of the way they live. So as soon as the surgery is over and as soon as they're done losing and they go back into the regular eating, well, they gain it right back because they didn't change the way they live. They didn't change the habits they'd adopted. They didn't change their lifestyle in order to show that they can actually do this and be mindful of the fact of what they're doing and create unconscious thought patterns that allow them to be successful. And that's what's going to be allow us to be healthy. And that's why right now I'm in this war against diets, war against short-term garbage, and war against these things that take your money but don't help you. These things that allow you to get short-term success, and then you fail, and you get success, and then you fail, and then you feel like it's your fault. You feel like the pattern was created because of your behavior. And then people give up. They quit. They think they're not good enough. They think they can't lose weight, but it's not because of the person. It's not their fault. What it is it's the fact that they've been given garbage by an industry that wants to take their money. Someone wants to sell them the magic superfood tea. Someone wants to sell them the CBD oil that can apparently cure everything known to man. Like I heard CBD oil can bring your dog back to life after it dies. And these are true statements that people try to bring about, and statements that put us in a place to where we're not allowed to be successful because we don't feel like we can, because we're constantly trying new things, and these new things never work for us. And so if we end up in this environment, we're consistently in an environment to where we think we're going to consistently and constantly fail. And then who has the motivation to keep doing that kind of thing? Well, nobody. So then we end up in this worldwide crisis we have. Everybody's on diets. Nobody can figure it out, but nobody can actually figure out how to change habits and lifestyle because it's not an issue that gives these companies money and these companies the financial backing to keep perpetrating and giving you products. Everybody wants to sell you protein. Everybody wants to sell you the shake weight and the fad stuff and the teas and all the magic mumbo jumbo, but that's not what changes people. That's not what gives you the results that you want. That's not what gives you the shape you want, the body you want, the dream life that you want to live. It's not the thing that allows you to stand on the beach in a two-piece bikini or shorts and feel good about yourself and who you are and what you're living on. That's not what the industry wants. The industry wants you to be stuck in a prison of ups and downs, stuck in a pattern of success and failure, because they know you'll keep buying stuff. They know you'll keep doing it, and they know they can hold you prisoner for the rest of your life doing that until you eventually give up and feel like it's your fault. So that's what I have to say about the likelihood of you being able to get into the body type that you want and be there. You can, but it comes down to changing three fundamental factors: mind, body, and habits. And I've spent 10 years figuring this stuff out, 10 years shifting through 1 million diets, 10 years telling people what they should and shouldn't do, and 10 years identifying why this happens and why this is important. And so it doesn't happen overnight. I didn't figure it out overnight, and I wouldn't expect anybody watching this to figure it out overnight. It's too easy to fall into the trap that we all fall into every day. Any questions on that? Hey, you're welcome, Michelle. I'm happy to address this stuff. I'm here to be truthful, open, and honest. And so if there's something that you're wondering about, something that you're not sure about, something where you've been taken advantage of, post it here. I'm willing to be live and attack these kinds of things because I think it hurts people. It hurts people more than it helps people, and it really fundamentally harms our society and the world. It's why we have an obesity epidemic. It's why people don't feel good about themselves. It's why we have mental health problems at a massive scale right now. Hey, Abriana. Okay, so question 2. What is the significance of knowing about foods you could eat every day and foods you hate? So this is a question I ask a lot of the people I work with. What foods could you eat every day? What foods do you hate? And the significance behind this question is I need to understand your specific lifestyle, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to do, what you don't like to do, how much you like to cook, what you have available to cook, what you don't have available to cook. Do you have a kitchen? Do you travel? Because then I need to take everything that you told me and map it and mold it and create it and adjust it into a diet and a plan. Well, not a diet, a plan of eating that's going to work specifically for you. Why? Because if we don't build something that matches your lifestyle and helps you create habits that create a positive connotation around food, well, then you're not going to stick with it. So I need to be more aware than you of what your preferences are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, what your tastes are, what you do, what you don't do, what you like to do, where you are, when you travel, can you cook or do you burn water? So that way, when we build something, it's something that's going to set you up for success right off the bat. It's not just handing someone like this templated meal plan and saying, look, it's the Bible of nutrition. It works for everybody, I swear. And then it doesn't work for anybody because it's cookie cutter garbage. And what does cookie cutter give you? Well, it gives you garbage. It doesn't give you anything. It doesn't give you any results, or it does short term, but you can't stick with it. It's why so many people fail and fall off track, because they don't have something that's been built and designed for them. And then when they fall off track, they think it's their fault because they weren't strong enough. They weren't motivated enough. They weren't empowered enough. They weren't dedicated enough. They didn't put everything into it. But that's not what it is. They were just fed garbage that something that was thrown at them is going to work for them when it's worked for everybody else. And in reality, it hasn't worked for anybody. If you track the efficacy and significance of diets long term, you're going to find out that they work on average 6 months, and 95% of people gain it all back within the next 6 months. And typically, diets stop working after about 3 weeks. And what will usually happen is the person perpetrating the diet will tell you, oh, no, you just got to get past this week. That's your hump, and you're going to be good, which is not true. It's what they tell everybody, so they'll keep buying their programs and doing their things. So next question. What change will a 73-year-old, 220-pound female achieve by doing some form of exercise 3 days a week for 30 minutes twice a day? Is it realistic for the same person to want to weigh in at 125 to 150? So for someone who's 73 at 220, exercise is going to be great. Exercise is always going to be good for you. For someone who's 73, one of the most important benefits from exercise 3 times a week is going to be the adoption of increased bone density. And what does that do? Well, that's a big predictor of longevity of life. And so that's someone 73 or someone who's 23, the more you work on your exercise, and the more you exercise and the more you build your bone density, the more likely it is you're going to live longer. That's a massive predictor of longevity of life. Now, in terms of nutrition, exercise is only going to be about 10% of your results. And so if you don't change your diet and you start exercising, well, you're going to end up eating more crap and you're going to end up being worse off. And if you overdo it in the exercise, which is what most people do, well, then you're going to end up releasing stress hormones that are going to solidify around your belly, and you're not going to be able to lose belly fat. And this is a problem I see a lot with people who start exercising hard. They lose like 2 pounds and then it stops, and they can't lose anything, and it starts gathering around the belly. No matter how hard they work, 6 days a week, twice a day, they still can't lose it. And this is because they built stress hormones in their belly. They built stress hormones that are releasing and telling them to protect themselves because they're dying, because they're overdoing it. So exercise is good for bone density, but don't overdo it thinking that it's going to help you have rapid weight loss. And now, rapid weight loss on the same token from 220 down to about 125 is something that needs to be incrementally approached over a long period of time. If we wanted to do that safely and not gain it all back and not harm our body, we want to focus on about 2 pounds per week. And so when we look at that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we got like 8 to 12 pounds a week in weight loss that we're going to eventually be able to lose. And so what does that mean? Well, that means we have a long-term plan established. And what does a long-term plan do? Well, if we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and we're losing 8 to 12 pounds per week in terms of our weight loss, well, that's going to allow us to lose weight loss in a sustainable way over time. And what does that do? Well, that builds habits. The longer you do something, and the longer something's a part of your life, and the longer something is something that you're doing, you're consistently doing, the more likely it is that you're going to adopt unconscious habits and patterns that you didn't realize you weren't doing. And those unconscious habits and behavior patterns are going to put you in a place to where you start doing this without even knowing it. And if we do this in a way to where it fits into our lifestyle, and our lifestyle specifically, and we're not focusing on fad diets and elimination diets and all this starvation stuff and all of that, well, it puts us in a place to where we can keep it off long term. So if you wanted to go down from 220 to 125, it might be a year-long journey. But that year-long journey means you're going to keep it off forever. You're not going to lose 100 pounds in 3 months and then all of a sudden gain it all back immediately because you didn't change your habits. You just had a rapid change. So we don't want that rapid change. It's not good for your body, and it's not good for your efficacy and your results long-term. So we want to make sure that when we do this, we put you in a place to where we get this weight loss in a long period of time. We are able to map it out with safe and sustainable weight loss, and that allows us to adopt the unconscious habits and behavior patterns that are going to allow us to keep doing this and be good with this long term. That's how we do it safely. That's how we do it long term. And that's how we make sure that we build results that stick. And so my last question for today is, will using your program diminish the need for medications currently being taken? All right, so number one on this caveat, never stop taking your medication until you talk to a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't tell you that like this is my belly button, but I think it's located around here. But because I'm not a doctor, I don't know if this is my belly button or this one is, or if my belly button is somewhere in there. But so don't stop taking your medications just because you start a program. But what I have seen in the past from what we do is the need for medications typically goes down because you'll chat with your doctor when we start, you'll chat with your doctor a month in, 3 months in, 6 months in, and he'll start to notice changes in your blood work and changes in what the blood work looks like. And the doctor himself will reduce your medications. So yes, the need for medications will likely be reduced by being on my program specifically because we focus on mind, body, and habits. And so it is going to put you in a place where you'll probably need less. And I've had people who have major thyroid issues in the 9.5 levels, and we've reduced it down to like 1.2 in terms of the level. And the need for the medication for that thyroid problem went down to about non-existent. And so it does happen. It is possible. I'm not telling you to stop taking medication as a part of any program. But as you have conversations and chats with your doctor, the need for it is going to diminish as we start to see results based on the progress that we get in your health and wellness. Yeah, Michelle, just let me know. Shoot me a message and we can chat. That's all I've got to say for today. That was all my questions. Anybody have any questions while I'm on live that I can answer for you? I'm going to sit here for a couple of minutes. And then if nobody's got anything for me, I am going to peace out. Like Ice Cube says, today was a good live. So I'm going to hang out here. If you have questions, post them below. I'll give you guys another minute or so. If you don't have any questions, and you think of something after the fact, then post it and I will answer it next week. I'm happy to talk about anything, hard-hitting subjects, topics that people don't want to talk about. Doesn't really matter to me. We've been around a long time, so anything goes. Just send me a Facebook message, Michelle, to my personal account, and then we'll go back and forth. Or I'll send you one after the broadcast. Steph, can we have a cheat sushi lunch? Of course. The way we eat is it's not a cheat day. We just figure out how to fit it into our diet plan for the day, and then everything goes. Honestly, we eat however we want and still get results. One of my people that we just worked with, Richard, he literally, we did a case study and we talked together, and he said, it's like you get to eat whatever you want and still get results. And I was like, exactly. You get to eat the things you want, the things you enjoy, and you still get results because we figure out how to match it and mold it into your lifestyle in a way that's sustainable and that you enjoy. And then you start to learn how to do it. And that's the magic of it. It's not marketing mumbo jumbo. It's not marketing crap. It's a real life thing. It's possible. And people don't think this kind of stuff's possible because the industry tells you do every diet under the sun and we promise you'll be successful. I don't know what diet's popular right now. I think keto's the most popular. Vegan's pretty popular. Perfect, Michelle. Looking forward to it. Send me that message. And I'm going to go eat sushi after this. So any other questions? Last call before I jump off and I go live my dream. All right, cool. Well, if you want to know more about what I do, always you can go to stoneagefuel.com/video. If you've been following me for a while and you do want to chat, I do a permanent weight loss game plan call where we chat about what you need to do and help you find clarity. Honestly, that one phone call is pretty impactful for most people. I'm a fairly good communicator, so I can help you understand what's going on, why it's happened, and at the very least, give you the motivation to make this happen moving forward and the know-how. So you can go to stoneagefuel.com/call if you want to jump on a call. Steph says, yeah, like my day consists of a morning smoothie so that I can have my sushi today, and I'm always full, so it's my lunch. See, exactly. Steph knows she wants sushi. She plans for it. Steph's the most hardcore cheater I've ever seen in my entire life in terms of diets. One time, I made her meal plan for her, cooked her breakfast for the entire week, and then I walk in and she'd already adjusted it so she could eat Lucky Charms. That's legitimately how our life is. All right, everybody. Well, I am going to jump off because I got a sushi date with Steph and Aubriana. It's going to be exciting. Hope y'all have a great day. If you have any questions, post them in the comments here, send me a message, and I'll jump on next week on a live, and I'll answer them on next week. Give me some good ones, too. I like to get heated, and I like to go on rants and tangents and all that stuff. All right. See ya.